Hey guys, it's Kristen. I'm a rural squirrel. A lot of people have asked for tips and tricks and things that they think would be important to know whenever you go to the bins. There's always good information to share and see what works best for other people. I'm in no way a professional, but I have been a reseller for quite a few years. I almost exclusively go to the bins to do my sourcing, and I think I've been going exclusively for probably 6 or 7 years, but I've been a reseller on eBay for about 24 years. And if you have ideas or things that you think are important to know whenever you go to bins, tips and tricks and trade secrets, feel free to leave a comment in the messages below. I'd love your feedback and see what kinds of things you think are important whenever you're going to the bins. When I go to the Goodwill outlet, or the warehouse, or the bargain barn, or the by the pound, whatever you want to call it, it's all the bins. The bins are different because it's the Goodwill outlet, meaning it is not like the regular retail store where they have everything in rows and on hangers, and there's a women's section, a men's section, a houseware section, a kids section. It is all just in a big bucket on wheels that you dig through. It is like a pile of stuff, and you have to dig to find it. And usually they separate things out in cloth and then like wares. So cloth could be towels and sheets and pillows and clothing. And sometimes they separate the shoes. Sometimes the shoes are in with the clothing. Sometimes the shoes are in with the wares. The wares usually are the glassware, the electronics, the books, the knickknacks and things like that, kitchen items. Usually they're separated out. Either way, you have to dig. Most of them are in rolling bins. They kind of look like a big trough on wheels, and you just have to dig. Some places have them in what they call big gaylords, where they're big crates that are on the floor or on a pallet, and you have to bend over and dig into those. They're a little bit harder to do, and I've only seen a few locations do that. But the bins are where the Goodwill has items that didn't sell at their retail store that they can offload, or donations that they haven't had a chance to get to yet. They haven't even had a chance to process them because there's so many, so they end up in the bins. And the bins is the last stop before they hit the landfill. And there is so much stuff that comes through, so there's just enough stuff for everybody. There's so much stuff. When you go to the bins, you pay for it by the pound. So be mindful of that. I kind of weigh things a little bit, just mentally to see what I think it's going to cost me. If I think that it is worth the wait, if I'm going to get a return on my investment for the cost of what it weighs, which usually is pretty good at the bins anyway, then I will consider purchasing that. Also, double check your prices at your locations. Sometimes you need to have 20 pounds or more to get a better price. So keep that in consideration whenever you are collecting things, whether or not you're going to throw things back or whether or not you're going to add more things so that you can get a better price. Not all locations have a graduated scale like that. Most locations that I've been to have a set price for most items, and then sometimes they separate out like glassware or books or heavier items or specific furniture, bikes, vacuums, things like that. So check the pricing so that you know what you're getting into whenever you are going to be purchasing something. And if you have something heavy, ask them. They may give you better pricing on it just because it's so heavy. They sell it by the pound, and everything that we buy, we're keeping it out of the landfills and hopefully finding it a new home and a second chance at life. So first thing I like to do is plan my day. I like to set a time that I want to get there and a time that I want to leave. Whenever they bring out new rotations, sometimes it's really difficult to say, all right, that's it, it's time to go, because they're always bringing out new things at my bins. Some bins locations, they only rotate the one time during the day, or they only rotate one time during the afternoon. So it does help to set a time limit because you can always keep digging. There's always going to be more stuff. I like to get there early. Mine opens at 8. I like to get there at 8. That way I know I'm going to get a cart. I'm going to get a spot up against the wall that hopefully has good Wi-Fi. And I also kind of like to beat the rush a little bit. It's a little more calm, a little quieter in the mornings at my bins. At least that's what I have found. Get comfortable with your location, something that's closest to you. Be familiar with it, and then whatever works best for you and your family and your schedule. I also want to make sure that the day I go to the bins, I'm wearing comfortable clothes. Something that's going to be comfortable, something easy to move in, and something that I don't mind getting dirty. I also want to make sure that I am wearing comfortable shoes. I'm on concrete all day long. There are some days where I go and I'm there from 8 until they close. So I want to make sure that I am definitely wearing something that is going to keep me comfortable. When I go, I want to make sure that when I'm leaning forward and I'm digging, that my hair is out of my way. So I put my hair up in a top knot or a ponytail. It is out of my way all day long. If you have short hair, it's not an issue, but with long hair, you're going to want to make sure it stays up and out of the way. I like to bring a water bottle everywhere I go, but I also make sure that I have a water bottle with me whenever I'm at the bins. Some places don't let you have food or drink, so double check with your location, but I always bring a snack and I bring a bottle of water. When you're done with your snack, please throw it in a trash bin. Don't put it in the bins. That's just gross. That's a no-no. That's like bins etiquette. Don't put your trash in the bin. I've been digging through and run across somebody's, half-eaten apple core. That's gross. That's not cool. Just throw it away, but bring a snack. Everybody has something different that they carry for a bag or a way that they keep their money with them. I like to have mine in a backpack. You'll see in all my videos I have a backpack. I have a couple of different backpacks that I use. I think you should have a backpack or a fanny bag or a bum bag or a belt bag, whatever you want to call it. I think that you should have your money with you at all times. Don't leave your money in your cart up against the wall. You should always have your stuff with you at all times. So a fanny bag works great. If you have one of those, I'm going to probably be switching to one of those and keeping it in the front all the time. It's right there in front of me all the time. If you need a link to a cute backpack or a fanny bag, I have a link down below. I know of a small business that does custom work and you can have it personalized just for you, but make sure you keep your money with you. Don't leave it in your cart. Some places require that you keep your cart up against the wall and you don't get to take your cart down the aisles. When you have your cart up against the wall, a lot of places will encourage you to put a blanket or something over the top of it. Some places do, some places don't. But just be familiar with what is normal at your bins, and it does help. And if you can have carts down the aisle, a lot of people will put their kids in the carts and just have their kids with them at all times. Not all places accept kids. Not all places allow kids under 16 to even come in. A lot of places, if you do let kids come in, they aren't allowed to get into the rotations. Different locations have different rules on that, so double check before you go. There are very few bins locations that give you bags whenever you check out. It's a good idea to bring your reusable shopping bags anyway. And a lot of people say that you're not a real reseller unless you have an IKEA bag. I didn't have a real IKEA bag for a long time, but it is a great idea if you have your own reusable shopping bags so that you can at least get things in and out of the car into your house. It's really important to have a fully charged phone so that you can look up those comps and do your research and bring a phone charger with you, because you'll be surprised how much you're going to be on your phone doing that research. So bring a phone charger with you. Not every place lets you take your carts down the aisles. Some of them require that your carts have to be up against the wall or in a designated area for you to set your stuff. So you'll find out when you get there, and just, ask questions of the people that are there, ask questions of the staff, and they're going to help you out. A lot of people will ask me if I ever dig through any of the bins that have already been gone through, the older rotations. I dig through those all the time. I don't mind being in the new rotations when they first come out. I've gotten used to it. It's fine with me. They don't bother me to go through a brand new rotation. Sometimes that's where people get a little bit crazy, a little bit aggressive. And if you're not comfortable with it, just don't get in a new rotation unless you see something you absolutely have to have. And if you're willing to get into the little bit of the craziness, I always find things in the bins that everybody else has already gone through. I've been through bins where I know that there's lots of other resellers that have gone through it, but maybe they're looking for things that are completely different than what I'm looking for. Maybe they look for really vintage t-shirts, or I know somebody that only picks up flannels. So they might pass over all of the piles of Lululemon and the Hermes scarves and the Dooneyberg purses. I like those things, but don't be afraid to go through the bins that other people have already gone through. As a matter of fact, sometimes people, when they sort their carts, throw it back into the bins that have already been gone through, and I'll find a lot of really great things in other people's throwbacks. I think the one thing that most people said to me when I asked for their best advice was to leave other people's carts alone. That should go without saying. If it's not yours, don't touch it. If it's in somebody else's cart, it's not yours, so leave it alone. I think that's the biggest piece of information that you can give. And for a lot of people, that's just common sense. But it has to be said, you need to leave other people's stuff alone. So those are the things that I do whenever I go to the bins. I hope that helps you guys out, and I hope it makes it easier for you whenever you check out the bins for the first time. If you guys have any other things to add, any other tips or tricks, please make sure that you leave them in the comments below. And let me know how they do things at your location. If they do something quirky or weird or different, let me know. I'd love to hear that. Just leave me a comment. Let me know how that works for you. I hope you're out there finding all kinds of great stuff. There is enough stuff out there for everybody. So if you found my video helpful, I hope you did. Give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. If you have subscribed, thank you very much. I'm very grateful and I appreciate every single one of you. And if you see me out and about, please say hi. I'll see you next time. I'll see you in the bins.